child. Why? That spell managed boy. But a man, I'm a full-grown man. I'm a man. I'm a rolling stone.
Man, that show was spectacular. Not just yours, but a lot of artist shows. I mean, well polished, put together, the soul showmanship. People don't believe what I saw yesterday. Do you get that a lot?
Well, the thing about it, when you're putting together the show, when you're doing the show, you know, the whole goal is to make sure you have the artist lineup correct and to make sure you have everything taken care of and people are safe, you know. Doing this show was during the COVID-19 era when things was going on, you know, for us people afraid of COVID. We still had a lot of people come out, and it just was a blessing to be able to entertain. So we had a great sound, the sound system was there, so it was about setting up in a very commercial way. Mm-hmm. So we was able to do that.
Mm-hmm. And then at your statue, you're a tall guy. People will know that you got a background before this music thing. You got a basketball scholarship. You went to college on a basketball scholarship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I was playing ball at Albany State, and I also went to Gulf Coast Community College. Played ball down there. Gulf Coast State College now. I was a pretty good basketball player. So that was something that I was doing. That was my dreams and aspirations coming up, you know, to be a basketball player, but that didn't work out, which, you know, the chances of that was slim anyway. You know, and a lot of people who miss their first dream, they spend the rest of their lives depressed because they can't find another outlet. But by the grace of God, I had another skill and another ability, which was vocals and which was singing and writing.
Yeah. Now, you got a degree in behavioral science. How do you bring that into play with your music, or do you? I'm sure you got to read people. And
well, the thing about it is, it's more of the degree. Reading people is a gift. The degree is just something saying that you went to school for it. Because I think everybody has to be able to read people to be able to communicate. And in order to do business or do anything on any certain level, you have to be able to communicate. You have to know how to talk to people, and you have to know how to listen to people. Not hear, but listen. So I just try to apply my listening skills to people so I can understand where they're coming from. And then I try to apply my communicating skills, because the whole problem with a lot of artists in a lot of situations, there's a misfire in communication. When you have a misfire in communication, then you have a problem, and you have a situation. It might be a bad situation, but communication can put you in a good situation. So, you know, it's just been a blessing to be able to be, you know, mentally diverse. You know, I tell people to be mentally diverse, you know. A lot of times we as artists, we're trained, and I say a lot of black artists, we're trained that it's not cool to say you went to college. It's not cool to say you even had a daddy. You have to make it look like you come from so street and so gangster to, at the end of the day, you have to make it look like your storyline is that dramatic. But, you know, that's not the case. I don't think you have to, every artist has to get shot or has to get killed, almost killed, in order to sell I won't say CDs, but sell music. Yeah. I'm speaking in antithesis, saying CDs, but music, you know, period, because we know everything has moved to more of the online phone and computer area, the technology area.
Mm-hmm. Stacii Adams is full of surprises. You know, the degree is one, the basketball is another one. Adina Howard is a third.
Yeah. One of my first person I ever worked with was Prince's manager. Prince worked with Prince named Teddy Ashton. Mm-hmm. Teddy Ashton was one of the biggest radio promoters in the country. Me and Lou Battle, named Lou, we played ball together at Albany State. Mm-hmm. So Lou and I, we wrote the song for Adina Howard. Which was The Nasty Grind, produced by Angelo Ray, which I still work with him now. So writing that record catapulted me into the publishing game, because dealing with Teddy Ashton at the time, we were young, didn't know what was going on. He really was molding us into the business, because Teddy had worked with everybody. Legend, you know, they can Google Teddy Ashton, straight legend. So we actually got that deal by just knocking on the door and literally opening the door and we sang. Lou Battle had an auntie, a cousin that worked for him in his office, and she set up a meeting. We just went in there snapping our fingers and sang the 3 songs we had. So what he did was, I tell y'all what, I called him one morning about 6 o'clock in the morning from the dorm and said, Mr. Aston, I got a proposition. If you give Lou and I $600, we'll go to New York and come back with an album in 5 days. He said, I'll tell you what, if you guys go to New York and come back with a solid album in 5 days or something that's good, I'll move y'all to Buckhead, and when I move you guys to Buckhead, we'll do music. So we were supposed to get back to Atlanta at Friday evening at 5. Any time after that, it was gonna be a dead deal. We pulled up at 4:56 from New York, right in front of his office. We went in there, he said, let me hear it. He put it in. He listened to what we had there. We did 10 songs in 4 days. But the thing about it, we did it in the basement. My sister's boyfriend at the time, and they've been going together for 20-something years. But my sister's boyfriend produced the tracks in his basement. We was in the basement so long, we didn't even know what day it was. Like we actually lost track of the day, whether it was night. We didn't come out. Only thing we did was leave. We went to New Jersey. We stayed in his basement. We went to White Castles. We'll go to White Castles. And, back, Crystal was my favorite food at that time. So White Castles, man, we started going to White Castles. I'm like, I had never heard of White Castles, So we went to White Castles, and we got back. And the thing about it, on the way up there, we started spending money on the tie bus. We had to fix something on the car. So by the time we got to New York, we had maybe about $220 left. We had somewhere $220 left, and we stayed there 4 days. When we came back, only thing we had came back on, when we got back to Mr. Aston's office, we might have had about $6 left. And Mr. Aston turned around and gave us another 50 to be able to get back to Albany. See, but and that's the thing. But even prior to that, I was about 16 years old. My first time ever meeting 50 Cent was in Jamaica Avenue in New York. My mother and father, and my mother passed, not too long ago from cancer, but my mother and father allowed me to go to New York with a guy named Dax and a guy named Adam, which was a group called Hit and Run. We went to meet Sylvia Rome with Derek Coley. That was my first introduction to the commercial side of music. So at 16, I was up at Universal. We recorded at Crazy Cats. We stayed at Manhattan and at Derek Coley's, which he was a part of. He was already signed with Universal. He was with a band, a white band, like a rock band. So Derek Coley, we stayed in Manhattan in this little apartment. I slept over there in the corner on the floor. I didn't realize he was playing that much to stay in Manhattan. But that was my first time of getting a whiff of 50 Cent. Then I had a chance to talk to Scarface down at the McDonald's in Manhattan. The first time talking to him, we talked about 30-40 minutes about the game, the rapper. Yeah. So we talked about 20-30 minutes. I was 16 years old at the McDonald's. So I started out coming in the game. So after that, Lou and I kept saying that, that situation didn't work. We were young. We was in the prime. We were 32 top 100 urban AC radio. At the time, we was ahead of Destiny Child, all of them. The 32 top 100, one song, no video.
The song was?
Fortunately.
Okay.
Song called Fortunately. So we was actually, man, we had blow. We was the 32 top 100 on Billboard.
And what was the group name?
LJ.
Okay, LJ. Okay. All right.
So that situation, Fester went down. Then we went with Mo Lewis, New York Jets. He was my mentor growing up. That's when we had a chance. My first time we had a chance to meet Beyonce and Jay-Z. Met Beyonce and Jay-Z because we went to meet Jay Brown. Jay Brown was at the time president of Def Jam. So we went to meet Jay Brown, and I know I'm talking, you might have another question, I'm just rambling, but we'll get back to that, but that's when I had a chance to meet a lot of those cats.
Okay.
Yeah.
But speaking of Def Jam though, one of the A&Rs said that you and Lou Battle were like some of the most creative songwriters ever met.
Actually, we had, it's two people we had met. We met Bruce Carbone, we met Tom Mottola. We met Tom Mottola, we went over there to Casablanca, met Tom Mottola. We went to the studio with Corey Rooney. Corey Rooney was the one who produced Mary J. Blige So we was in there with Corey Rooney. And that's when I had a chance to meet Busta Rhymes. You know, so the thing about it, you know, you were young in the game, meeting all these people and having a chance, because then we had wrote a record that she didn't use, but for Jennifer Lopez. She didn't use the record, it just was, you know, then they recorded 50, 60, 70 songs and picked the one they want to pick 10. You know, that was those days, you record 80 songs and pick 10, you know. But you know, but we still was in 2000s. You know, we talking 2006, 2005, 2006.
But you weren't Stacii Adams back then.
No, I wasn't. I actually was an artist by the name of Jay Harden.
Yeah.
So, the thing about that is, after Lou Battle, what happened was Lou Battle, we had a situation, a deal on the table from cross seas. Mo Lewis called us, and Mo Lewis, when he called us, he was like, this label offered this type of money. I'll take my portion, and I'll give you guys this portion, y'all can split it, and I'll wash my hands with it, and y'all go ahead and deal with the label in Europe. But we couldn't get Lou Battle on the phone. 2 weeks passed, we couldn't get him on the, about a week and a half, 2 passed, we couldn't get him on the phone. That's the first time, I guess, because we had started going through the situation, because we had a guy named Sean Harris. Sean Harris had put a divide and conquer between Lou and I. And the divide and conquer really kind of happened. One day, Lou and I went to the studio with Jazz and Faye and a few other producers that was there. So when Lou Battle and I got in the studio, we supposed to be writing to a record. So when we got in the studio, the guy asked us, did y'all write anything? Did you guys write anything to the song? I said, no. Lou Battle said, yeah, I wrote something to it. I was like, wrote something to it. So he wrote a song called, he had a song, I forgot the name of it, but he wrote a song, and it was a nice song, great song. So that's when the divide and conquer started happening. So I went to them and sang background for Lou, which was cool. I just was about anything we do or whatever, I'm trying to get there, we try to make it. But I was still, at the time, Lou was a stronger vocalist than I was, but I was more of a business guy than Lou was. You know, I was more of an energy of the group, and Lou was more of the talent of the group, which my talent level caught up. I could sing, but Lou was a singer. Yeah. But now I can sing, and I'm a singer. So, but you know, so that was, me and Lou, we cool now, you know, because that was some young stuff that happened, so we was able to go through it. But man, you'd be surprised the people I met and ran across, you know, doing this game.
Yeah, I'm not, because I saw your Jay Harden show. Mm-hmm. You know, how did that, because that was a dynamic show, and how can I put this? I won't say, when I first heard that you were doing Southern Soul, I was kind of torn, like I'm sure people your fans were. I mean, I was kind of disappointed that you left this alone, but then again, I'm like, well, you know, man, this Southern Soul wide open. How did that transition come about?
Well, it came about, okay, when you get to, I got about 10 grand a show with no deal. Mm-hmm. But at the time when my song took off, I had no manager neither. That's why this music is so important to be prepared for the success. That's why I tell people, preparation before prayer. That's my motto now, preparation before prayer. There's no use of praying for nothing you're not prepared for. Because not being prepared for a blessing is just the same as not having it. Point blank period. So I wasn't prepared for the success of my record. So when it took off, I wasn't ready, phone ringing. They called from China, we need 200 CDs, we need 150 shirts. Europe, we need 150 shirts. We need 500 CDs, promotion, just single. China, we need, so now you got to order for 3,000 shirts, right? Mm-hmm. You got to order for 3,000 shirts. And I had a little money then, but you got to order now for 3,000 shirts. You got another order for, in all, you got to order for 15,000 single CDs to send out for promo. Then you got to do, you got 700 DJ need drops. So now I'm overwhelmed. So when you're not prepared for your blessing and you're overwhelmed, God only have your blessing window open for so long. You know, so, and as an artist, hip hop has a time, has an age limit. Period, point blank. You know, when you start getting a certain point, you know, you got rappers 16, 17 years old. So that's a man, you can be 27 years old and be an old man in the rap game. Period, point blank, 27 years old. If you ain't made it like in the rap game, 27, 28 years old, you pretty much an old man. Yeah. So at that point, you know, when you get your shows, so then my 10s, went to 8s, went to 9s, went to 7s, went to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 to 1,500. Because at that point, your manager or the person working with you supposed to know how to trigger and spread you. And I didn't drop a mixtape fast enough. Because at the time, I'm in the mixtape world. When that song took off, now I can't get in the studio because I'm here working doing shows. So now the studio, they want more music, but I'm out there pushing one song.
That's the stripper song, right?
Yeah. We call Work That Pole.
Oh yeah, I love that joint. I saw you perform.
And at the time, I was the king of hood and blues.
Yeah.
And you know, I went and did a whole internet scrape to try to take off everything I had. Because when I transferred to Southern Soul. And another reason is this: I started realizing you can either be a part of the problem or part of the solution. And like I hear T.I. and them, a lot of them guys talk, and they got a problem with T.I. I met him before, and he made, you know, and all this stuff. We know, I've been in his club, I've been in the studio. So when I say being part of the problem or part of the solution, when people don't understand music is energy. Point blank is the spirit behind it. And when you talking all that when you talking what I was talking, you know, you got to be able to live it. When you talking about the drugs, when you talking about the pistols, and you talking about all this, you have to be able to live it. And not saying that I couldn't live it. The question is, do you want to live it? Do you want to live that lifestyle? Do you want to engulf yourself into that evil? Do you want to engulf yourself into that point to where you have to be ready to kill, you have to be ready to steal, you have to be ready to do whatever, you have to lose all principles and morals just to put out a hit? Because that's why so many rappers and stuff dying now, because they are trying to emulate and imitate real life that they talk about in their music.
Art imitate life.
Art imitate life. Yeah. So now me, I used to go to the club and have 40 women with me everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, they have to pay them nothing everywhere I go. That's what I've known for. T.I. That's how I came in the game. I took over Atlanta by myself, no manager, nothing. Took over Atlanta, period. I was that guy.
Yeah.
But when you start hearing kids run around, if a kid singing your song and you feel a certain type of way, like, so I went to Millersville, did a show, right? I did a show in my hometown.
Yeah.
And it was packed. I did my song. So while I'm doing my song, I'm performing. It's like they ain't got any slow motion. I'm seeing kids out there. I'm in the project. I'm in the middle of the project, right? I'm in the middle of the project. Housing authority where kids don't have nothing. They're destined to lose. So I'm doing Boot Up, Pipe Up, which is a song talking about popping pills and piping up, smoking dope. I see these kids while I'm performing running around doing the smoking sign, jumping around. And that affected me. It affected me. So while I'm performing, I'm seeing the kids jump around. I'm seeing them doing this to every nasty song I had and every dope song I had. It kept affecting me internally, spiritually. So when I came off the stage, I didn't feel good no more. I didn't feel like I had killed that show. See, most of the time I come off the stage and the crowd going wild, I say I killed it. But I felt like I killed them. Because when you see a kid that already got the odds stacked against them, singing songs and getting into a mindset they're gonna stack more odds against them, then you're a part of the problem. And there's no way possible to be a part of the problem and the solution at the same time. The only way you can be a part of the problem and the solution at the same time, you got to totally throw away the problem and jump to the solution, or totally throw away the solution and jump to the problem. You're at a crossroads. So, you know, guys like T.I. them, they may go and talk about political and talk about how we need to do this and turn around and drop a dope song talking about the trap the next day. So you were part of the solution on Monday, but on Tuesday, you were part of the problem. Because now you're dropping a record that still encourages the youth to possibly try to hustle. And the hustle is not an art. The hustle is luck. There ain't no art to it. It's pure luck and blessing. Selling drugs is not a skill. It's just having the drugs. The addict makes the game. Nobody worshiping the addict that's spending the money. They ain't saying, oh boy, that boy just bought some crack. Oh, he just bought how many ounces of crack? He finna snort it all. That's my boy. He the one spending the money. Yeah. Nobody glorified the addict. But the addict the one end up, hi, my name is such and such, and I'm an alcoholic. Hi, such and such. nobody glorify him because nobody showed that side of the story too tough and promote that part. But you know, it's just that's what I had to do. I had to become a part of the solution, and my solution was I had destroyed my image.